Hey, it's Lex and Lynn, hosts of Mood, the podcast that's your go-to for humour, wisdom and a touch of NSFW. Mood. We're relatable as fuck.
Hello. We're going to pretend like we haven't just been talking to each other for like the last 15 minutes.
Trying to sort the episode out. Lastminute.com.
So that's how Lynette and I always roll, very lastminute.com. We wing it. We're like, yeah, we'll totally be prepped for this podcast. And then we're like, no. Well, I haven't. Lynette's actually been super good this time. I've literally just come on and been like, what we do? Who are we talking about? What we're talking about?
But the reason we're recording now, so we recorded one last week, and it's because you're off on your holidays.
I am buggering off for a couple of days to Crete. Going to have a nice little, I say chill out. There's actually going to be stuff done like every single day by the looks of it. So for those who've listened to previous episodes, Anna from Anna Marie Fitness, I nearly get her username mixed up with someone else's. So Anna has got a big retreat coming up. So we're going to Crete. And there is basically stuff happening nearly every single day while we're there. It's all good. It's going to be a bit tiring because there's exercise and stuff. Like, this is not a chill out 100% holiday, but it is going to be in a really nice place place for staying, a nice part of Crete. And yeah, it's going to be good fun. But yes, I'm not here. So we thought we'd do recording now before I forget and bugger off for a week or so.
And leave me.
Leave Lynette to do some of my work because we work together. So Lynette is looking after very kindly looking after some projects for me whilst I'm gone as well.
All good. That's what I'm here for. It's what I'm here for.
So this episode, we're going a bit all lighthearted this time. We've really deep dived into some things in the past. Obviously, we did the whole thing about life coaching and like speaking about Nikki's past, and that was really like a cool chat. And obviously, we spoke with Anna about fitness and mindset and stuff. And then we were like, that's great, and we love doing that. But we also like to entertain you in certain ways as well. And sometimes we like to be a bit cheeky. And today, Paranoia or Paranoid is the episode today, which is our episode 9. Yeah, hopefully. Where did you find out that 9 was your lucky number?
Oh, my mum told me. So my mum and dad got married on the 29th of August 1979. My sister was born on the 9th of August. I was born on the 9th of May. So yeah, just 9. It's always been in our family.
Wow. Yeah, nines. I like it.
Yeah.
Ours is 2. Well, mine is 2. Don't ask me why. I think I've read it somewhere for like my time of birth or some shit like that. But like, I mean, I live at number 2. My brother and my sister-in-law are at number 22. So I guess like 2 is there's some 2s there. So I guess that's the reason why. But this is the 9th episode, so it's lucky number 9 for Lynette. We're gonna just chat away, but we're mainly here because we want to play a bit of the Am I the Arsehole, which I know lots of people love doing. It was just something that we were like, do you know what? It'd be quite fun and discuss which one of us is mainly an arsehole if we agree or disagree with the conversations. Yeah, we get one.
You guys can vote.
We're going to do that as a poll after on our Instagram. Who is more of an arsehole?
Who's more of an arsehole? Oh.
Probably going to be me. I'm all right with that. Let's see how we go.
Sure.
But as always, like we always do when we meet up, is we play a couple of would you rathers and stuff just to kick the mood off. And again, I'll be honest, Lynette has got some. I've been really shit at it, so I'm going to let Lynette start because
you've thrown it at me first. Okay, so do you want to go light? Do you want to go deep? Or do you want to go somewhere in the middle?
Let's start middle because then I can kind of like I can gauge it better if we go there.
Okay, what was the first thing you bought with your very first paycheck?
Oh my god! Do I talk about like my little like first holiday job or my actual like proper first job? I guess.
What's your first holiday job? Let's hear it.
My first holiday job was working at my mum's she's a legal PA family matrimonial, and I was like a little mini office clerk that was just photocopying and things like that, and filing stuff away. And I only did that like once or twice. And then my actual first proper job was working at Sainsbury's as a little checkout assistant. I can't even tell you what my first paycheck, what I bought with it. I would assume it was probably something to do with like either buying CDs or like clothes. CDs, I'm really showing my age here. CDs or clothes. I think I would have just treated myself to little bits and pieces here and there. I don't really remember the first thing I bought, but I was a little checkout assistant.
Went to HMV, our price when it was still open. Save that for the next episode.
Oh god.
So I was out of school, got a little job at JD Sports. Big up branch 114, if any of you were listening.
Seeing you being a little JD Sports girl as well.
It was the Oxford Street branch. I think it's now H&M. I don't know. It's not JD Sports anymore, I can tell you that. I got paid £4.25 an hour.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it?
Crazy. No, but at that time, I was saying this to Ricky the other day. I was like, I remember, like, I did like 2 or 3 days a week, right? And then I think I went up a bit more, and my paycheck was like, and it's nothing bad. It was my paycheck was like £600 a month, which is now like not even my mortgage. You know, like the idea now, that was a lot of money to me. Then I was so happy with that, and I didn't even want to do full time because I was like, I can live on 600 a month. Like I'm good. So, I know aspirations at that point. I was like, it's enough to buy me cigarettes at the time and
standard.
Standard,
yeah. That's it. I used to live on like 80 quid a week to get me to college and stuff. And and then would wait for my Friday paycheck to come in for another 80 quid. And it was like mad.
And now it's like £20. It's £20 just to get into work. And then I think about 10
another
to 15 pounds a month.
Yeah.
£5 on a coffee, maybe.
This is insane, isn't it? If you're lucky. Oh man. But I remember the worst thing was that it was awful. But I remember I was the last person to get their pay changed because there was a pay rise for everyone, like a general pay rise, which went up to like £4.75. And I was like, I was still on £4.25.
I think I had the same. I got like something like it was like a 10p, but it was like something ridiculous, like a really small amount of pay rise, and I was like, oh, pay rise, like so proud of it.
But I do remember my first the first thing I bought was a Donnell Jones CD. It was a CD. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what's up? I can't sing like you, but you know what I mean.
Oh my God. Like my brother, like that's so funny because me and my mate Lena, we went to go see. We went to like a massive R&B gig like years ago, and Donnell Jones was going to be there, and there was loads of other singers in there. And we were telling my brother, and he was just like, instead of like say what, he was like, oh, what's up, and we're like, come on. So every time I hear Donnell Jones, I always just think of him like getting the lyrics fucked up every single time.
I love it. Oh, those are the days.
Those were the days, but it's like you said, when you said JD Sports, for some reason that did not surprise me. I could just literally see you.
I always get that. But only kids floor though, because I couldn't reach the adult train. Stop laughing.
Love it. All right, so in that case, what has been your worst ever job? What was like your worst job?
I quite like JD, and then I don't know. I've not really had bad jobs. Do you know what I wish I did though? I wish I worked in a bar. You know, there's like a bar generation and there's like a retail generation. Yeah, I guess I really liked it because I was 16, and then after that I moved up in the world and I worked for M&S for £8 an hour.
Oh dear, I did minutes at one point. I was working. I got made redundant. That's it. I got made redundant, and then I started doing a music course, and then I needed to just get some money coming in the meantime. So I was like, okay. And then I happened to just get a job at Millets. I think it was through the job centre or something. Yeah. So I got that, and I only did like 2 days a week. It was, I mean, the knowledge I needed to have on those shoes, like it was just never going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hello. For those who wondering what's happening, it's just pondering in the background. Nah, it's all good. Yeah, I did Millets for, I don't think I was even there that long. I think a couple of months, and that was like, you needed to have really good like shoe experience for what kinds of shoes, basically for like walking, trekking.
Oh right. Oh God.
You'd get loads of people doing the, oh God, what's it called? It was to do with him. It was like a big walk that loads of like kids would do at like a certain age. It was like a big like event thing. I'd get all the mums coming in for that, and they were like really particular about the shoes and they wanted and like blah blah. And I was just being like, yeah. And I remember I think I was getting paid like £100 a month. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so broke, but I just needed something coming in at the time. So yeah, that was like, it wasn't like my worst job. It was just one of those.
Did you leave?
I left because then I actually ended up getting a full-time job in there not long after, thankfully. It wasn't a place to work. I just felt like a fish out of water in that place. I did not fit in there whatsoever. I'm not a fitness girl. I wasn't someone at that time that was into going for walks. I wasn't at one with nature. So like, me and my full-on makeup, just like rocking around in Millets with like,
Love that. Yeah.
So kids
What? I'm
literally got the
going
window up.
trekking. I'm going trekking in the Alps, and I'd like to know what grip this shoe has. Can you tell me?
Literally, like, they would be like, this like rucksack that I've bought, I want to know that I can use it in like water, snow, summer, like, but like, does it come with a fire kit? Like all these things. I'm like, I don't know. Just like open the bag and find out. I don't know. It's just like, stop asking me questions. I'm tired. I'm just staying with
I'm
you.
tired.
I don't care. I don't get paid for this shit. Like,
Oh, I know, right?
oh, and also you had to have this thing where basically you had to like upsell as well. So we've had like items behind. Oh, don't
Do you want to
miss it.
sign up to this store card? Sign your
Literally, do you
life
want a store
away.
card? Do you want to buy a torch for like £5? Like honestly, it was just fucking horrific. And but you know, it was funny. I was saying to Ricky the other day, like even when I worked at Sainsbury's, you'd have like mystery shoppers, and you'd have like people obviously kind of just checking every now and then like how you were performing, as in like were you offering to bag, were you offering them to buy anything in particular. They gave us like conversation starters as well, and it was so awkward because most people don't want to be spoken to when they're shopping. Like, it was things like, what are you up to this weekend? How was the weather? Like, have you had a nice day today? And like, it was, I was saying to Ricky, like, one of the girls basically just said, oh, what are you up to this weekend? And to the customer, and they basically said, it's none of your business. And she was just like, no. When it came to asking something about her receipt or like the bill or something, she was just like, well, that's none of your business. Like, she just was like, fuck it.
Oh my God.
We are definitely the retail era. I think our age,
Yes.
it was always retail, right?
100%. Because I was 16, this is my first job. It's like,
Yeah.
and because it was JD Sports, and you do get quite a mix of customers.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh yeah.
including all my friends, not who's like, oh, can I get 20% discount off some trainers, please? I'm like,
Yeah. For sure. I've
Oh,
done the
so
same
many
thing.
weird things. So many people just trying to steal things. Kids coming in going, can I have a drawstring bag, please? I'm like, no. What? Are you buying anything? No. Do you remember? I remember using those for PE. It was good because I was at college, so I always had like a
drawstring bag.
You know,
Yeah, and like, especially her tits as well, because like the bag would just go, you just literally accentuate the boobs even more. Like, honestly, I hated it. No, I used to get
man.
in Sainsbury's, I'd get kids coming in that were clearly not of age and being like, oh, I want to buy this DVD, and it was like they were like 10,
Yeah.
and clearly it was like an 18 or 15. It's like, have you got the ID? And like, no, and you're like, you get all the people moaning at you and stuff, or you got like a mix, obviously people shopping, and I think depending on what time they come and shop, you get all types of people. I would find like in the evening you'd get like randomers, like proper randomers coming in super last minute, and like families always arguing in that. And then like Saturday would be like obviously people's big shop back in the day, and that was always you'd get all kind. And then like during the day on like weekdays you get blessed like older people coming in. And like I used to feel for them, but some of them are miserable old gits as well. Don't get me wrong, but like you get some that really just like that was their time to have a chat and communicate, and like they'd be really chatty to you, like lovely, but I also have all these people to serve. Like, it was horrible because there's no way like for them to chat, bless them. But
and do you know when the weirdos come out, the sales, mate.
And they're so particular, and they try and fuck you off with sales as well. And you're like, this discount on my bro. I was like, that wasn't on there. Don't
but this had the label £10 was on this trainer. I'm like, you put it there.
Can I get like £20 discount? You're like, no, fuck off. Like, what is this?
Yeah. I swear someone came in once from like trainers they'd literally worn for like got them 2 years ago, and they'd worn them and they'd run in them and they'd be like, I want a refund on these. I'm like, why?
Oh my God.
You've worn them though. You're like
they're
just not right. They're not right.
It took you like 20 wears to work that out, did it? Like, the one where they clearly know that the thing they've brought back is totally out of season, is the barcode doesn't even show up anymore, and they're like, oh yeah, I only bought this not long ago. You're like, no, you didn't. Why are you lying? But I have to say, working in retail and hospitality, I think gives you a newfound respect of others who have worked in that. I think we've said this before, like others who have worked in that, and obviously dealing with people on a regular basis of like, there's a lot of assholes out there as well, like nice people, but it kind of like, it makes me want to be nicer to people because I've worked in that kind of industry in the past. So what other questions did you invite? So that was a medium. That was fine. I feel like that was fine.
So where are we going? Are we going deep or are we going like a bit light? Where do you want to go?
I mean, I feel like you should buy me a drink first before we go deep. But I mean, let's do it.
This is episode 9, Lex. If we haven't gone deep now.
I feel like, do you know what? I mean, I'm very open to really like big deep conversations and stuff. So like you could throw anything at me. I think I would be alright with it. Fuck it.
Right, let's go deep. It's not that deep.
I was going to say, I think like, what do you eat for dinner?
When was the last time you cried?
Oh, I actually got a bit emotional on Saturday. I was having a chat with like my brother and my sister-in-law and like my friends, and I was just talking about life and stuff. And yeah, I kind of had like a moment where I got a bit like, you know, when you sort of like start crying and then you kind of and then you sort of like try to
Yeah.
stop it. Yeah, I guess Saturday was the last time. Other than that, I actually can't remember before that. It's been quite a while since I've had a good old cry. I love
A good old ugly cry.
I do cry. It's usually about work when I'm just stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do it. But it's been a while, so I do again. It's been at least a couple of weeks. When was the last time you cried?
Do you know what? I would. Nikki got me. She set me off. That the recording we did last week.
It's so true.
That just came out of nowhere. So that was that kind of hit me a little bit. Sorry,
No,
I don't mean to laugh at that. I'm just thinking of like the actual last time I cried was at Britain's Got Talent.
I love it. Why? Someone's performance really got you, did it?
I always cry at Britain's Got Talent. It's the one where they have the kids doing the choir, and it's it's all like for a good cause, and I don't know why. Britain's Got Talent just really gets me. But I remember watching Britain's Got Talent after I just had Isabella, and I was an emotional wreck, and I honestly I was like crying at every single episode. I was like, pull yourself together. So now I feel like Britain's Got Talent has this emotional hold on me.
When you put it like that, that makes more sense. Because then I was just thinking, I'm definitely the arsehole, because I'm like, why are you crying over Britain's Got Talent?
And it's always quiet. It's always quiet.
Don't get me wrong, there's been some bits where I've seen and I'm like, yeah, okay, that got me emotional. Like, it's usually the singing ones for me. Like, they just like, someone, singing is my thing. And if someone hits something in a certain way and all this feeling emotion behind it, or they've got like, I mean, I hate the sob story stuff, but obviously they've come through like a long way to get to where they are and like stuff, that's kind of nice too. But all right, no, that was, I'll allow you.
Bye, Dave.
Bye, Dave. We should definitely do clips of just go, Dave, hi, Dave, bye, Dave.
Bye, Dave.
Okay,
I don't think he realised the camera's pointing at him this time round.
He's probably like, why are they baiting me out so badly?
Usually he does come in, but you don't usually see him.
He wants to be on it, I know. I see.
I know. Yeah, he's trying it.
He's trying it. Slowly. Come on. What was I going to say? What was your like question then? Seeing as we went dark,
we went dark, medium. Deep, medium, deep, light.
What am I on about? God.
What smells make you happy?
Oh, do you know what I was thinking about? Funny enough, I was thinking about it the other day. I mean, food obviously for one, but
what food smells?
You know that like really cheesy kind of like meaty smell from like burgers, for example, and things like that. Like
when you walk past Subway and they always have vent.
Or like a deep pan pizza, like things like that. But there's jasmine flowers that are usually like my go-to to be like smiley and happy. And the reason for that is they remind me of Cyprus a lot. So they remind me of obviously hometown. They remind me of my great grandmother. I met her like when I was obviously really young, and like I only met her like once or twice. But my grandma as well used to always say about she loved jasmine flowers because they remind her of her too. So it's like a family thing for me. Like if I smell them and I see them, then they just remind me of like my hometown, but I was over here, but like Cyprus and my family. So I think that's like my main one. And then there's also a perfume that I wear, but actually my mum wears it too, and I think it's just a really nice smell. And I've ended up buying I've been gifted that one and other scents from it as well. I can never remember the name of it, probably it's called like Essential Molecules or something like that, and it's meant to have like pheromones and stuff, and it's a really distinct smell. I always know when someone's wearing it. It's just like one of those ones, and you don't. It's one of those ones that you can spray shitloads and you won't smell it instantly. It like comes and goes every now and then. But they're like my go-to smells of like. I'm like, it reminds me of my mum. I really love the smell in general, and it's just it smells good.
Lovely. You? Oh, so mine's really random, but kind of on the same lines as you. It's so weird. I'm just gonna come across like such a fucking weirdo. I like the smell. I cry at Britain's Got Talent. And I like the smell of petrol and burning.
Oh my
God. because it reminds me of the Philippines, because of there's like the way they get around, obviously on the tuk-tuks and the trikes, and so it's always like from when I was little and going to the Philippines and going back like a few years ago now, I just love that smell of like the whole, I don't know, just the raw. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say. I get it. I can agree with you on one and not on the other, unfortunately. So I like the smell of like matches, fire, bonfires, like stuff. The smell of petrol, it makes me really. I just every time we ever go to the petrol station, I always feel like really sick when I smell it because I'm like, oh, it's really strong.
Oh,
And oh, do you know what smell I can't stand? You know, like when like you're doing like the tar on the roads, like that's that
that
tarmac kind of
stinks. Yeah,
smell.
yeah.
I get, like you said, it's got meaning behind it, so I get
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm wholly agree with you on the fire like that. I love that smell. It's a
Yeah.
burning wood smell. That smells banging. Did you have
Oh,
any others? Would you rather's and stuff?
that was it. That was there were your three. There were your light. That's your medium, deep, and light
I
today.
like it. I like it. I feel like we covered quite a lot there. I feel like I didn't even need questions. That's how good it was.
Did you find a would you rather?
Let me try and find a very quick one whilst we're here, because I'd hate to leave you hanging. And what is this one? I mean, for the Greek girl in me, this wouldn't matter either way because I have both. But would you rather have a full-blown moustache for a year or permanently hairy legs for 10 years?
Oh, mate. Oh, no.
I know,
Permanently
right?
hairy.
Permanently
I've
hairy.
got to go for legs because you can hide
Yeah,
it.
to hide them.
Moustache.
Like I said, I have both. So would you
Oh,
rather?
do you know what I hate is when I get my eyebrows threaded and the lady goes,
Yeah.
just eyebrows? And I'm like, yes,
Oh yeah, and you're
just
like, no,
eyebrows. I
you
do
didn't have
my
a
own
mustache, but
tash.
now you mentioned it.
I
Yeah,
do my own.
you want your tash done? You're like,
Yeah,
no, but
no.
now you mentioned it, like shit. We're
Rude.
going out with like that, bitch.
You want full face?
Yeah, like, what
No.
else? Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
don't
what is
know.
this?
They do offer full face threading. I'm like, what? I just don't know.
I've done that once, like
Yeah.
years ago, and it was the most fucking painfulest thing I've ever been through. I had laser and everything that, but threading was, and you know what smacked it as well? She was like insulting me pretty much throughout the process. She kept going, "Oh, your hair's really tough. Oh, you're really hairy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm aware. That's why I'm here for you to thread it. Just shut up and get on with your job. Like, no one asked you. I'm paying for this." Yeah, the thread of the face, if you can avoid it, get laser,
Yeah.
honestly, it's so much easier. So much easier. And I have another question for you.
Oh.
I'm not going to read it. It's a weird one. Would you rather let a crusty old man drink out of your belly button every day for a year or drink milk out of a crusty old man's belly button every day for a month?
Oh, the month. I don't. Oh man.
Very
The month
disgusting
because
old man.
I can get rid of him quicker.
So do it. Hang on. So you'll
Out of
drink
his for a
out of his
month.
for a month every day.
Yeah. But it just means that the time we're spending together is like, okay, it's it's a month rather than a year.
True. You might bond over that time, and you might not mind it.
Potentially, but yeah, just get out. Where's my milk? Okay, go. Okay, we've only got 4 weeks left. That's fine.
I
That
don't know
does
who
me.
wrote this. That's the weirdest one.
What would you do?
Oh, do you know what? Ugh, I feel like I would almost want to say them do it for me, so I don't have to think about it. But then I'm like, oh, I don't like the idea of them touching my belly button either. So I think I would actually I'd have to do it as well. If it's oat milk, then I'll be like, fine, I quite like it.
You drink out a crusty man's belly button for a month.
Don't be saying like that without context, guys. All right. Come on now. Oh dear. All right, I'm gonna find one more random one. I can't remember if we've asked this before, but I'm gonna ask it just in case. Would you rather have the ability to change the past or see into the future?
That's a really good question. I think my gut is saying see into the future. The past, without the past, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here in this moment.
Yeah, it's true.
Everything that's happened, anything and everything, all the little things, we wouldn't be here. So if I could see into the future and at least plan, or at least what's the phrase I'm looking for? Treasure the time and treasure the moments and things like that before knowing what's going to happen. I think I would rather do that than change anything else that's happened.
I think I might have to agree with you because it's hard because like a part of me would say, oh, I'd love to go back and change certain things in my past. But like you said, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. It would be would I be happy in the other scenarios of what my life could have ended up being? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a really big believer of everything happens for a reason. And like, whether it's good, bad, whatever, like there's always things that lead you to like where you're at. Like, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but like it's very random. But I randomly went into a pub with a friend one day. She was like, oh, there's karaoke there. Let's go in there so you can go and sing. And she doesn't sing or anything. So I was like, okay, cool. And I met people through there that I ended up doing like a gig with them. And then one of the girls, I ended up joining the amateur like stuff that I do. And then through there, I got my job. And then from my job, I got to the job, like where I'm at now. And also when I was there, they convinced me to go and do like online dating and stuff. Like I met my husband, like all these things, like it all kind of went to that. Yeah, so it's had like a snowball effect. And I always think back to that going randomly, I think like 16, 17 years old, going randomly
Yeah.
into, God, a really long time ago, going randomly into a karaoke place.
Yeah.
And it
Just
kind of
meeting
opened up
people.
for sure. Yeah, I think sometimes
Yeah.
it's good to not even risk, just do it. Just someone says, let's do this. You're like, oh, fucking let's go. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Why not?
I'd rather see into the future. But then, do you know what? I kind of don't know about seeing into the future also.
Scary. You
Yeah.
like surprises? Prefer to be surprised?
I like to be prepared. I guess maybe I think no, actually, it's like I don't really like. I do like surprises depending on what they are. I like organising surprises for others. I think that's the better way of putting it. I'd rather like surprise somebody else rather than just be sprung with a surprise. So for me, as a
Yeah.
person, I think I'd like to kind of know what's happening. But then I think you're never going to be 100% prepared for whatever life throws at you, right? It's just you just
Yeah.
take it. So yeah, I almost would actually say I would probably go with neither of those, and to be honest with you, and just be completely like a fool every time something new happens. Like, oh shit, I didn't know it was going to happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, live
Oh,
life out at the moment.
exactly.
I think we've I think I went like did people those ones as well.
I like those. What are the dirty ones?
There's two. So there's two sections. So there's dirty and then there's hard.
Fucking hell.
So it was like things like, all right, so one of the dirty examples was, would you rather have unbelievable sex that lasts 10 minutes or average sex that lasts an hour?
Oh, 10 minutes.
Oh, for sure, 10 minutes.
100%. Exactly.
Like,
What's it?
it was like generic, boring sex for like
Yeah.
hours on it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
seconds on it and then hurry up.
Yeah.
Are you done? And then one of the hard ones was, would you rather walk in on your parents having sex or have them walking in on you?
Oh,
Or
God.
or would you rather have the face of a pensioner but the body of a 20-year-old, or the body of a pensioner and the face of a 20-year-old?
I don't know.
Oh, I do know that I would rather walk in on my parents having sex and then walking in on me, because I feel like they'd be more embarrassed than I would laugh. I would laugh, fuck's sake, and then they'd be more embarrassed for it. So
Yeah. You wouldn't be here otherwise, so
this is true.
yeah. So
No,
they have done it.
it'd be fucking rude for me considering they haven't been together for about 30 years. So I'm like, what are you doing? What are you
Oh,
doing?
have you seen that new trend?
Yes, I know exactly which one you're going to say.
The mum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get back with dad or dance.
Oh, I might try that on my mum. You know what she does?
Yeah.
Oh, she'll be breakdancing. Fucking hell. So would the face of a pensioner the body of a 20-year-old, or the other way around?
Oh, face, I think. Face of a 20-year-old.
I think I'd have to agree. Because this is, you
Yeah,
see,
this is
realistic,
the
isn't
money
it?
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't do the podcast like this, do we?
No. I mean, it depends what kind of money we're trying to make of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We could.
Yeah, definitely face for me.
It depends, like how old. When we say pensioner, I'm assuming we're talking like stupidly old, like really old. Because then like some
Pension age these days, 65, 66.
I mean, the way we're going is 70s. Like, I don't know. You get some good-looking 70, right? So,
Yeah,
so if you're like a really young-looking 70-year-old and a 20-year-old's body, you're laughing.
it's fine.
All right, I feel like we've nicely covered some
Yes.
very hard-hitting questions. So, am I the arsehole? I mean, I'm going to probably assume most people right now are probably arseholes if they haven't even asked the question. But let's see.
Yeah, but why is it
Okay.
there's this whole big popular thing on there on Reddit, apparently, like the whole forum about it. It's exactly what you said. Like, obviously, you must already think you're the arsehole if you're asking that question. Quite interesting. I haven't looked into it like loads, but they always just pop up on, like, it's clickbait, isn't it? It's like, oh, this is
Yeah, I like a read of them as well. But you're right, it is also the other way around of like maybe they thought it was an okay thing to do and then be like, oh, but like maybe I should ask that because maybe it does seem like a bad thing. But I know, like, you and I have had conversations like, well, I was sort of saying to you the other week about family stuff, and like I felt like I was the arsehole in that situation because of this, but this was my reasoning behind it. We all have that thing. But then also my thing is that if what I'm interested to always find out with these people, if they ask it and then they get the answer they don't want to hear, do they agree with it, or do they say, well, fuck everybody?
Still, have you got any personal situations that you can think of where you've had to question yourself, or you kind of step back and question yourself and think, is it me?
Do you know what? I think one of the experiences where I still don't think I was, but I was like trying to see it from maybe another point of view. Okay, so when it was my wedding, my dad was invited to come to the wedding, right? And he was umming and ahhing for ages whether he was like, yeah, but he wasn't really like making any plans. And he lives in Cyprus, he doesn't even live over here. And I kept saying to him, it's cool if you can't come, but you need to tell me, obviously, because like whatever. He'd be like, no, I'm coming. And I'm like, do you need help with tickets? Do you need help with hotel? Yeah, I thought it was just that a lot. Anyways, randomly, I obviously asked, my grandma was still alive at the time too, and I obviously asked about her coming, and he was like, she can't because she's too old and like she's not, well enough. And I was like, fine. I only had it that my dad was, and bear in mind, by the time like he was coming back to me and stuff, like things were like planned, like it was kind of last, like we were getting to that cut off point. One day I randomly asked him, he goes, oh, I'm bringing your cousin, like one of like my first cousin, right? And I haven't seen her in years, and it's going to sound horrible, I haven't seen her in years. I didn't get invited to her wedding, and I was, it wasn't like I wasn't tit for tat, but it was like I haven't seen her in a long time, whatever. And not only that, he was like, oh, and she's also bringing her daughter as well. So that's now 3 people that I'm having, like, bear in mind, my dad is an on and off maybe. So I was a bit like, we can't kind of, because we've already done everything's done, like we're at capacity and we've done this and this and like whatever. And then he was like, oh, well, she can just come to this bit. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's basically in Cyprus, Greek weddings are like, there's like the wedding and then everyone just turns up. There's no there's no amount of people. It's just whoever turns up. It doesn't work like that. Obviously over here, you need numbers. He didn't take it very well. And was very like, about bringing her, like, blah, blah. And I spoke to my family and my brother was like, just make it work. Because originally I was like, no, I can't, like, whatever. And I had to go back and say, I'm really sorry. Like, at the time I was like, I can't make it work, blah, blah. I've tried really hard. And then my brother and that were like, look, let's just try and find a way of just getting it to be what it was. I went back to my family and then was like, so I can do this, but like, I can make it work. And then my cousin all of a sudden was like, yeah, I'm not going to come.
Oh,
shit. And the thing is, what pissed me off was the most was that my dad just didn't deal with the situation right. Instead of like calling me and saying, listen, this is the plan, like what can we do? Like it was just that, oh, I'm bringing her and I'm bringing so and so, like as in like deal with it. And that he told them properly, he hadn't let me invite them, like all that stuff. In the end, like they didn't come. My dad didn't tell me he wasn't coming until literally the day before my wedding. In fact, he didn't even tell me. It was he told my half sister, who told my stepmom, who told my brother, who told my mum, who told me. It was something like that. It was like a really
God.
Yeah. So it was very messy. I was always like, fine. At the time when I rang him, I remember just being really angry with him because I just said to him, like, if you just told me properly, I'd have like accommodated your family, like why would I have not and stuff. And then he tried to like throw it in my face and then like he was doing us a favor by coming over, and that's where so in my head, sorry to cut a long story short, in my head I'm like, was I the arsehole for dealing with it the way I dealt with it and actually had a boundary in place, said like no, like I can't and I'm not going to because the way you've done stuff? Or should I have just, even though I was going to invite them in anyway, should I have dealt with it better? But it was just one of those things on top of like loads of other things too. But I don't regret it or anything like that. Like I knew he wasn't going to come. I knew that he wasn't. But it was just that fucking around and just not being upfront. I mean, I gave him an invite like a year before the event, so he had plenty of time. You know what I mean? So one of those ones. That answers my question. I wasn't the arsehole.
I wasn't the arsehole. Do you know what's really interesting actually? Is that there is like that. When I was looking at Am I the Arsehole stories, there was specific wedding editions, and when I've seen them, a lot of them have been about weddings. And I'm not married. I'm not, I haven't got any plans to get married in the near future or whatever. But from what I have seen, the amount of politics involved in trying to arrange a wedding, it is enough to just put me off. It is enough to make me go, let's run away to Las Vegas, get married, and not invite anyone. It's like bridesmaids. Don't get me started on like. I was going to say, that's on another.
Exactly. Bridesmaids, all of that stuff.
Hindus, maid of honors.
Nightmare.
I don't know if it's the same. I can only see from kind of the girls' point. I don't know how different it is from guys' points of views. And I think I have heard a few stories around groomsmen and stuff like that, but I don't know the ins and outs. But there are probably 1 or 2, maybe 3 scenarios of people that I know, particularly who don't speak to their bridesmaids now. Yeah. Which is mental, because it's basically the happiest day of your life, and you want the people you love the most next to you, standing next to you, representing you, helping you. And it's just like, in my head, like I have these like weird thoughts in my head sometimes, like, well, if I was to get married, I don't want to like curse my friends. So like, don't want to like choose people to be my bridesmaids if ultimately at the end of it, I'm just not going to be friends with them anymore. It's mad, and that's
I
kind
mean,
of
it is exactly that. I think like the hen do. I think hen do's are. I mean, I've stag do's. I've heard bad stories as well, and there's a lot of like comparison of if. Well, I did this for your wedding. You owe this for my wedding, or
honestly,
I stepped out for this person's wedding, but when it came to my wedding, I didn't give a shit. Like there's a lot of that as well. And the wedding stuff is just it is politics. A lot of the time, you're trying to please everybody, and it becomes
honestly,
to a point as a bride and groom, you just say, you know what, fuck everyone. We have to just do what's
it's
right for
your
us.
day. Yeah.
It's not though your day. I hate to say it, it's really not your day. Because as much as you, because the whole mindset really is, well, look, as much as I love a wedding, and as much as I like weddings are boring as well. Like they can be boring for people. I get it. Like I'm not gonna pretend. Like for me personally, like I'm Greek Cypriot. Greek
Yeah.
weddings for me, I find a bit boring. They're just not my
Yeah.
thing. We never had a Greek wedding. I was kind of refusing. I didn't want to do it. And the reason for that is it's quite formal. The ceremony is very formal. Oh, you're not allowed music in Greek churches and things like that.
Yeah.
It tends to be a lot of the same venue, same band. So it's kind of hard to differentiate them. And each their own, that's their wedding, nothing to do with me. But
Yeah.
weddings are to entertain people. That's really what it is. You want good feedback. You don't want to hear that wedding was shit. That wedding was
Mm.
boring. You don't want to hear that. So it almost stops becoming a thing about what you guys want and really is about what everybody else wants in some respects. But
Yeah.
I think if you have the right people there and you have the right atmosphere, then you're
That's
kind of
it.
laughing. But saying that, like I fell out with my bridesmaids, and I think this, like we said before, things in life happen, and that's when you start really learning like who is rooting for you and who isn't rooting for you, and
Yeah.
who, or maybe like I don't know, just it just brings out the best and worst in people in these sort of situations. So
Yeah.
and that's why it doesn't surprise me that Am I the Arsehole comes up a lot in wedding stuff because I think
Yeah.
there's a lot where you don't want to come across as a bridezilla, for example, but you also don't
Yeah.
want to be a photographer too. It's you fight that battle a lot. And I would
Yeah.
say looking back now, I would definitely I mean we didn't it was a big wedding, it wasn't massive, but it was definitely a big wedding. I now looking back, it's like I wouldn't have had so many bridesmaids. I'd have definitely changed the decisions of who I would have had as bridesmaids and that, and even groomsmen. Like we had problems with Rick's side; it wasn't just my side as well.
How many
Um,
bridesmaids did you have?
one too many.
13.
So I had my maid of honor, who was my sister-in-law, and then I had 6 bridesmaids. So I had quite a few. So I had
Okay.
they're mainly all work. Yeah, they were all work friends, apart from like one who was a work friend, but I also did show stuff with. And then I had my old school friend that I've been friends with for years. So in my head at the time, I was like, I'm gonna make that work. It didn't. It didn't work. There's a lot of reasons why it didn't work. Like there was also stuff from like I would hear things. So I was talking about this funny enough at work the other day because someone was asking about my hen do, and I said, well, actually, I had 3 hen dos. I had one with my friend because she was about to have a baby. Sorry, she was about to have twins. And then I had one with all my drama lot, which was a big, massive thing. There was like 20 something of us. We went to Brighton. It was great. And then
Yeah.
had stuff with like family and friends and like the bridesmaids and stuff. And there was a lot of like competition almost a little bit, like with certain people
Yeah.
wanting to one up one of the other. But it was different people, different budgets, all that shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
it just caused a lot of problems.
God.
No, like my family and like my bridesmaids, just no one could agree on anything. It was just it got really out of hand, and a lot of it was I wasn't told about until after, and then some of it
Mm.
was I knew, but I couldn't. I didn't know how to get involved. Like it was kind of out of my hands as well. I made it really clear that I wanted something quite simple. It was kind of ignored, things like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that you question yourself. Even I don't question myself looking back at it now because I know that I wasn't the arsehole as far as I'm concerned in that situation, but
Yeah.
at the time it was like, am I the arsehole for saying no to people that we barely know that are being asked to come to the wedding, for example? Or am I the arsehole because a
Yeah.
bridesmaid I've paid for everything for a bridesmaid and I've asked her to buy like one thing and she's causing like a kick, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it does, you question it. But I would say, and you get bridezillas, don't get me wrong, you get some,
Yeah.
you see ones where they're like, someone the other day, they sent out a whole list of like things they couldn't do at the wedding, like guests, for example.
I'll go on.
It was things like you can't wear certain like items of clothing, and you can't take photos at specific points in time. You cannot go up and get like more than one serving of food. Like it was just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And things like £1,000 as like a gift for the wedding. Like
Uh,
you're an absolute arsehole for 100%.
yeah. Yeah.
But I would
Jesus.
say if you ever decide to get married, one, I mean, marriage is great, but marriage isn't the be all and end all as well. Like
Yeah.
it's got its highs and its lows, and I think if you're happy as a couple, you don't need to get married as well. I'm a really big believer of that. But also, if you do, just keep it small and keep it to yourself.
Run away.
Alone, fuck me.
Yeah. The controversial question is did you have children at your wedding? Because I remember a lot of invites of ours got revoked when we had kids.
Yeah, okay. So this is definitely an Am I the Arsehole one then, because we decided no children at our wedding. However, we did have so let me explain this. So we had my niece was 1.5 years old.
Yeah.
Naturally, she was going to obviously be there. So anyone that was family, it was fine.
Yes.
Like my friend, she just had 2 children, like she just had twins.
Babes in arms.
Yeah, anyone that was like babes in arms, like babies, toddlers, like, and anyone that was carried and not being able to walk around on their Jack Jones, apart from like my niece, was like fine. Anyone else, when we couldn't, the reason why we couldn't as well is we wouldn't have been able to accommodate all of them. Like nearly all my friends have children, right?
Yeah.
And so if we had said yes, that's like another 200 people. And I'm not even joking. Like,
well, this is it. It's like, and I think Dave's sister was saying before, it's like when she got married maybe 10, 11, like over 10 years ago now. But like if you invite like a 3-year-old, that's a head, right? So then you're paying X amount per head. What's a 3-year-old going to eat? 3-year-old's not going to eat anything, but you have to count that person in the whole seating and all of that sort of stuff. So she's like, really sorry, but like,
that's exactly how we were. It was like we were already at like for sitting capacity. We couldn't fit more people. There wasn't more chairs and stuff. Like we already were at the highest that we could go at. I had some friends that thankfully I had some friends that were completely understanding and said, actually, I don't want to take my children with me because I want to have fun and not worry about them and have a good night. And these were actually family members that we did say, bring them obviously if you want. And they were like, no, actually we're not going to, we're going to get a sitter and that. So I was like, fine. And then I had some friends that did push back and was like, well, I need to bring them. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but like you just can't, because if I say yes to you also, it's not fair on other people, you know, like I can't accommodate, and I'm really sorry. And also this was like they were already saying that within like over a year to go, and I was like, you probably can find some, you know, you're like, I know not everyone's got people to have they had families. It's not like I know they had families. I was like, you've got families to help, like it's one night, it's one evening.
You've got a year. So you've got a year to sort your shit out, basically.
And I was at, I know this is weird that I know we're going to talk about this properly again at some point when we talk about children, not having children and stuff in general as a subject in itself, but just because I choose not to have children doesn't mean I don't like children. I love children, but it's not obviously something I don't want them at every opportunity and every celebration or whatever. And this was our day. It was a lot of people. We didn't want to cause problems. We didn't want anyone hurting themselves. We don't want parents having to run after their kids. Like it was, we wanted peace and quiet. I don't feel bad for that. I know some people were saying, it's a family, it's a celebration, but it's like all our family that we wanted and had children were there. Like for us, we had to needed there. Anyone else was not thought about or considered in that respect. So it's a really touchy subject. So touchy.
And I think also, like, you know, from what I hear from other people who've said, you know, and they have apologized, and it's not, you know, they don't have to apologize saying, you know, no kids or whatever. But also from their point of view, and like you said, you just want people to have a good time, and you just want people to let loose. So like leave your kids at home and like have a good time. You know, we want to party, we want to, you know, just relive your youth pre-kids. Like, and it's really difficult to do that. Some people, don't get me wrong, there are some people and some families who can do that with children, with 2-3-year-olds in tow, and they're used to that, and they have. But there are, I would say, probably majority of families who have young children, it's going to be really stressful, and it will be a really stressful time to have those kids run. You're just running around after the kids. You're not enjoying it. You're not kind of getting immersed in the wedding and all of that sort of stuff. So
you want them to be present, right? You want them to be in the moment and enjoying themselves. And it's a really long day for a child. I actually think in that respect, I appreciate you want them with you and that, like they're your family. I get it, but it's like it's a really long day for a kid to put up with something like that. Children get tired quickly, they get bored easily, you know, like even one of my friends, we said, and her son was older, but she's like family friend of ours, and we were like, bring your son, and she was like, I love you, but absolutely no way. But in the with all due respect, she was like, he'll be bored, and she was right, he would be. So we were like, okay, cool, that's fine. We just didn't want her to not, you know, like think that we hadn't said about her bringing him along, but she was just like, honestly, he will run out of things to do. There was no one else his age and things like that, so she was like, I'm not going to bring him. It's easier. And then she said the same. She wanted to go and have a good time. She wanted to be there and enjoy the day. So and like I said, I know not everybody's got sitters and family that can help and stuff, so I get it. I'm not saying, well, then fuck off then, like, but it's like,
but then would you be annoyed if they then said that person that you invited, I don't know what if they ended up coming, but you invited them like a year before the day, and then you said no, they can't bring their child, and said, well, I'm not going to come then? Would that would that piss you off?
No, do you know what? I think it's each to their own. You can't force people to come and do stuff they don't want to do. We had something, it wasn't with children, it was actually with adults. We had one family member who wanted to bring, they are family, but they're not a very, very close family member. And they wanted to bring their son, who I have never met, and also Ricky hasn't got much of a relationship with, like, at all. And the reason we were told that they needed to come was because that family member needed to drive the other family member home at some point. And for me, that's not a good thing to have an
Take a
impact.
taxi. Yeah.
So I was a bit like, and this was at a point where we had said, like, we're done with the list. Like, we're done. Again, we're done. We're at capacity. We've got everybody we wanted. Like, you know what, as well, people don't take consideration. It's fucking hard to sit so many people together, especially when some people don't know each other, and work out who's going to get on with who, which family member can't sit next to.
Did you have a wedding planner?
No, I did the whole thing by myself. I was
Right.
like, I didn't want a wedding planner. I just thought it was easy if I just looked about. Probably should have. And actually, I liked that I did it. I enjoyed doing it. It was stressful, but I enjoyed it as well.
I can't imagine how stressful the table plans are, but like you say, people that are going to get on with everyone, and you don't want to just have cliques of people as well. You want people to mix. And
I remember my friend say to me, once, she goes, oh, I think because she'd invited her mum and her dad, and they weren't together anymore. And she said, I don't know I don't know where to put, like, my mum and dad. And I was like, you think you've got problems? I don't know whether to put my dad next to his current ex-wife or his previous ex-wife. I was like, because my stepmom was coming out. I was like, you've got problems. So I was like, where do I put him? He doesn't belong.
Which wife do you want to sit next to?
Wife do you want to sit next to? Like, it was fucking awkward.
Man.
So it is, like, I had a lot of, like, I feel like you've got, like, the kind of idea of, like, who your tables are, but then you've got, like, random family members or people that are coming maybe on their own and stuff, and then you're like, where the fuck do I sit them, like, without, and you want to make sure they get on. Luckily, with Touchwood, we were very lucky, and everyone was just there for the day. Like, everyone really made effort, and we had loads of feedback from people who were sat on those one or two random tables that were like, had a brilliant time. Like, it was fine, and it was really good, and actually the table that we sat with was lovely. And so, but that's when people really make your day rather than.
And did you have, like, an equal amount of guests? Was it like 50-50 split, or was it like, was there like, right, you're allowed to invite 10 people and you're allowed to invite 10 people? Or was
we weren't. It was difficult because we've both got quite big families. So I'd say it was like on and off, say 50%. Yeah, I'd say more or less. We had like my family. It was like my family, some family of mine this side. There was like a mix of like friends and family from both of us from like one table. We had like my Andram group, which is technically Rick's friends as well. So they were like, they took up two massive tables, and they were like the main group. And we shoved on like a friend of ours and like his wife on that table, and they got on really well. And then the rest was kind of mix of like mine and Rick's. So, but I'd say it was pretty much 50-50. I would say with with Rick's side of the family, because I think it's a cultural thing. Like, my family, because we're Greek and stuff, we're very in your face. You know who we are. You know what we're up to. Like, whatever. Like, we meet up more so. I'd say like Rick's family are close, but in a totally different way. They'll see each other like once or twice a year, and maybe keep in touch a bit on social media and that. And then there's some of Rick's family that I've like met on like once or twice, or like Ricky's like no relationship with them, for example, or they just don't know us as a couple. And so there was one or two of those. Well, that's where we were a bit like, they can come to the evening, but we're not going to invite them to the day. Like, it was like, and that was the other thing. We had evening guests as well, so we made it fair in that respect. But yeah, that daytime was like, I was a bit strict on that. I'll be honest, a little bit like, need to be these people, because this will set the mood better than like whatever as well. Like, just keep everybody happy, because we also have like, there's always family, there's always someone who wasn't talking to somebody and one thing or another, or it's awkward or whatever. I mean, I even had like friends there that were married, and then like the evening guests that were also married, but like when they were both single, like one of the guy and one of the girl at one point had
stop it
as well. So like that was fucking awkward, situations like that too.
Oh man.
One was like a friend of mine from I've known her for absolute years, and one was my old work colleague, and I managed to, at the time, thought it was a good idea to set them up together. Terrible idea. So,
but they both came to your wedding.
They came, to be fair. They were very courteous with each other. I mean, like, really like polite with each other and everything. But yeah, it was just, I was like, How about you though? Have you ever, not obviously wedding as such, but like, have you ever had like, I mean, what's a scenario for you where it's like, I kind of didn't know whether I was the bad person in that, or it's like a party or whatever, anything, whatever, where you pushed yourself at being?
There is one. A friend had organised like a birthday for me. I've given my friends a list of like, okay, these are the people to invite. So one of the girls on the list had said, I'll host it at my house. But, you know, she didn't know any of my friends or whatever. And I'm not particularly close to this girl. Anyway, and so when I found out it was at her house, my heart sank. She didn't know any of my friends. And, you know, it's just a different vibe. Anyway, so it happened and we went round and we had the birthday party and whatever. Afterwards, I kind of heard on the grapevine a complaint that all my friends never kind of helped to tidy up the place and stuff like that, right? If I offered to host something at home,
that's on me.
Absolutely. Like I wouldn't expect people to kind of pick up a vacuum and a dustpan and brush and go, right, go and get cleaning then. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so I've always, that really sits with me, that one. I always question myself as to, was it me?
No.
You know, was I ungrateful?
Yeah, you know, when you get friends and they're like, oh, they do this to me, but I feel like it comes with a cost. But I just see it as in, when you get people that are doing something for you, but they expect something almost back in return with it, it's a bit like, yeah. But no, I'd like to think like that you're not the arsehole. And I think if you'd known that, you'd have totally like been like, yeah, I'll give you a hand. But your party thing actually led me on to an Am I the Arsehole actually scenario. Actually, and I've had it happen to friends, and I've seen it happen in like news like and stuff as well.
Yeah.
If you invite people around to your house, right? So say I'm going to have like a big family dinner, I'm going to have a big friends dinner, and you invite people around. They eat, they enjoy it, they get a 3-course meal, whatever. Are you the arsehole for charging them per head at the ending?
I've seen this one. I have seen this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are. What the fuck? Yeah, but I think it's different. If you invite people to your house for a takeaway, right? Come round, have a takeaway or whatever. And now, because of the likes of Deliveroo and Uber Eats, and you've got it on your phone, order your own fucking takeaway, right? If that's what you agree. And we've done that before. We've had people around say, come round, we'll do a games night, we'll all get a takeaway, or I'll get this, or, you know, or do you want to order stuff? You know, you kind of make it clear from the off.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you're inviting people around for like, take Christmas dinner, for example, or Easter Sunday or whatever, and then you buy all this stuff for a roast. Yes, you're a fucking arsehole for asking people to pay. What the fuck? So that's going to cost you £25 each. Thank you. If you can pay that on your way out, that would be great.
It's like when people do that thing, like, you know, for example, when someone buys like a bottle of wine you're out for evening, someone buys a bottle of wine and they're like, oh, do you want like a glass? And you're like, you're all right, like halfway through, you know, they've ordered it for themselves, and then they try and charge you half the bill for having that glass of wine, and you're like, no, I don't even fucking want it in the first place.
Yeah. Or there's a good one actually where if you are out and there's that person on the table that orders everything, like but then you split but you all split the bill equally, even though you've kind of had a soup and then they've had like a steak and 3 starters, and then they're like, right, it's going to cost you all, and I've had a soup and a water, so okay, the bill comes to £95. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, wait a minute.
Am I the arsehole for going, but I just had a soup and a water?
So there's 2 ways of this. So my mum, because my mum doesn't drink, right? And my mum's always gone out and like when she's out with like friends and that, they would always buy alcohol, and my mum would end up paying towards it. She didn't mind, but she would also be like, I didn't even fucking drink. And obviously a Coke compared to like a Bacardi and Coke, for example, is completely different cost. And my mum didn't mind it, but it would get to a point where people were taking the piss, and then she'd be like, right, well, we all do our own drinks in the end, like fuck it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I when it comes to the bills, I see it 2 ways. I cannot bear when people take the piss, obviously, for starters. I also cannot bear that when people are like, oh, well, I didn't eat that bit of thing and you ate that. And you're like, just fuck it 4 ways, just pay it. Like, it really doesn't matter.
Keep the peace.
Yeah, we're kind of roughly all at the same amount. Like, like I said, if someone said, no, I'll pay for this because I ate like 3 courses and you only had 1, like, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I can't bear when it's like everyone's literally had practically the same meal, and they're like, well, I had the steak and like you had like the oyster, and like, so fucking, because honestly, again,
I only had 3 potatoes out of all the potatoes that were there. You had 4, so therefore you should pay an extra £5.
You should at least pay like an extra 10%, and you're like, but they're just like. Also, I hate not tipping as well. Like, right, so this is not my family. We have big debates about this sometimes. I always see it as in like, I can't remember, is it 10%? I'll always go kind of like what 10% of the bill was,
Yeah.
because if I can afford to do it, obviously there's times when I can't. I'll always try and leave a tip because there's, and my mum and I are really particular as well, because we'll be like, are you getting the tip? Because if it's going to all of you, like I only want you to have it because you're the only one.
Yeah. We're always like that. Yeah.
You
If
getting
I
it?
put
Like,
it on the card machine, is it going to get split? Shall I just give you the tenner, basically? Yeah.
But it's so awkward because I know there's some people that don't always want a tip as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's not to everybody, and it's fine. But oh god, we went to one place local to us, and it it was like we didn't have a choice of like how much technically we wanted to do the tip. It was really cheeky, right? So we were like, there was about 10 of us, and it was a big family meal, and it was something like 5%, 10%. No, it was not even 5 or 10. It was like 15%, 20%, and something else, right? And then there was like this other one, which was kind of like technically an other. So I pressed the other thinking, oh, it would let me put in what I want. And it tried to charge us like 45 quid tip. And we were like,
Oh my God.
no, like, it wasn't 45 quid worth of service. I was like, I'm really sorry. I was like, can we like take that back? I was like, what is cheap? Like, you need to ask us. Or, when places don't even ask you and they just put it on. And it's optional, but they just put it on, and you're like, no, but like
can you take it off? And are you the arsehole for asking to get it taken off?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like years ago, my family went, and this is really years ago. I mean, the place closed down, which kind of says it all. But we had a massive New Year's party, and there was quite a lot of us. The bill was massive. We all paid it, but there was like another like £300 to £400 as a tip on top put in, right?
Cool. And
it clearly said on it optional, and we were like, we don't want to pay it. We've just literally paid like a shitload of money. We don't want to pay it. I think we had already tipped as well, but they wanted like more, and we were like, no. And the guy was like, well, I need to pay my staff, and my mum was like, that's not our problem. That's really not our problem. Like, we paid you, like we paid, and we have tipped you, but you're asking, and it says optional. I can choose whether I want to opt in or out for this. I don't want to. Massive argument with the restaurant. We gave them what we gave them, but we never did the whole thing, and then they closed down not long after. But I was just like, it makes you question, am I the arsehole? I was like, but it's to say things like, but I need to pay my staff, but you should be paying your staff regardless of relying on tips to be paying.
Tips, exactly.
You
can't be paying wages out of tips, for God's sake. Like,
so many companies that do stuff like that, right? Like, it's so cheap. Or like, when you get like bar tips and stuff, and then they, like we were saying, like they split it between everybody, and you're like, it's not fair if someone's done 10 times more than like somebody else has as well.
Exactly. So what are you saying on the dinner? What are you saying on the
100% you're an arsehole. You cannot invite people around to your gaff and then ask them to pay towards stuff like the meal, and don't even warn them in advance that you're going to charge them for it. Or imagine they're like, oh, do you know what, Brenda, that was delicious, thank you so much, and then be like, £10.50. Like,
plus entertainment. I did put some music on for you as well, so it's going to cost you another £2.50 for the music. Did
you not see those cocktail sausages I brought out while you were sitting waiting to eat? But she picked my fat fill up ass and just thank you and good night.
Or when restaurants like just bring you starters and you've like asked for them, and then they just put them, and then they're on the bill at the end, and you're like, what's this?
Damn it, you're like, fuck. I hate them, but fuck.
I thought they were free.
Oh, I've done that before, made that mistake. Or the thing where they're like, I always, me and my sister always fall into this. And they're like, do you want water for the table? And I'm like, and then sometimes like, sometimes we forget, and they bring it out, I'm like, fuck, because at least like £4.
All they've done is got a bottle and just filled it up from the tap as well. It's because it's in a glass bottle.
And half the time, because they're not really allowed to do this anymore, from what I've gathered, but I mean, Greek restaurants were notorious for it back in the day. They would just give it to you with the lid open, which clearly was tap water. They just filled the bottle up, and you'd be like, "Where's the lid?" It's like, why is it not sealed?
Why is it off?
Cheeky. So fucking cheeky. God damn it! All right, give us another scenario to question.
Now, do you want a wedding one or a non-wedding one?
No, non-wedding one. I think we need something. We need like some hard-hitting shit to answer.
Some hard-hitting shit. Right, hold on. Okay. On the BuzzFeed, so it's going to be really hard-hitting.
Good old BuzzFeed. The most hard-hitting
right. Pick a number from 1 to 10.
Let's go with 9, as it's your lucky number.
Am I the arsehole? Yes.
You are.
Am I the arsehole for not knowing how to speak? Am I the arsehole for asking my husband what he expected after our daughter asked him when he was going home? Hold on, I don't understand that question.
Say that
Do you?
again. Say that again. No, say that again. Am I the arsehole for what?
Am I the arsehole for asking my husband what he expected?
You know you said arsehole again, right?
It's too early for this, like.
Oh,
I'm telling you. The earlier it
Arsehole.
is, I can't speak. Am I the arsehole
Yeah.
for asking my husband what he expected after our daughter asked him when he was going home?
That doesn't make any sense.
No. So let me read the
No.
story.
Let's go on.
There is a story under it. Sorry.
Good, good.
My husband travels for work and regularly works long hours, so our children don't see him every day and sometimes go weeks without seeing him in person. We had a fight over it recently, so he's been home a lot more. Our daughter asked him yesterday when he was going home. She's 3, and she's convinced herself that he doesn't live with us, and he only visits
Now I get it.
sometimes because he isn't here every day, like I am.
Yeah.
My husband was upset, especially since he couldn't convince her that he really did live here, and he brought it up before we went to bed because he felt I should have done more to make her realise that he did live here, and he couldn't always be home because he was working. I asked him, what did he expect? And he said, I was kicking him while he was already down. He's also blaming me partly for the situation because I'm the reason we don't live in the same city as his job's headquarters, and he's been angry with me all day. Am I the arsehole?
No, I would say it's really difficult because I'm trying to sit it in. I mean, the reason obviously we don't know the reason why she didn't want to move to the city to be nearer to the workplace, so that's fine. So maybe she could potentially be the arsehole because of that. But the situation with the child, that one is that's a two-way thing, or even a dad situation, if that's the case, if he feels a certain type of way, to maybe help explain it to his daughter each time as to why he's going and where he needs to go, rather than the mum having to be the mediator in that situation. So
Yeah.
what's your thoughts? Because you're a parent, so like,
These are funny ones, and it kind of brings up some other questions as well around stay-at-home mums and dads who are kind of the main providers, right? So it is a really, really tricky one and a really difficult situation because yes, there are dads who will go out there and they'll provide and they're basically like the sole income of the family.
yeah,
Then you've got the mums at home who are, there's this stigma around kind of stay-at-home mums, isn't there? And hopefully
sure.
that slowly kind of diminishing
Mm.
women empowerment and all that sort of stuff and all that.
Mhm.
But there is a stigma that stay-at-home mums don't really do anything. They're just at home and they just look after the kids. But
Yeah, yeah.
there is obviously a lot behind that as well, and a lot of around, well, when do they get a break and all that sort of stuff, and looking after kids isn't, just because they're not in a job and not earning money, it doesn't mean they're not working hard to try and
Sure.
keep the family together and to try and raise the family and to keep the kids alive and to
Yeah.
get dinner on the table and to make the house a home and to do all of that
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything
yeah.
else which is on top of it. So there's that, right? So it is a really difficult one, and it's like you say, because we don't know that situation of, the stresses that maybe the dad is going through. So from the dad's point of view, he's probably, like say, they has to travel for work. Who knows if he wants to travel for work or he has to because that's just his
Yeah, there's that
job,
too.
and he has to do that to earn money to be able to provide for the
Yeah.
family. We don't know whether or not the mum is a working mum or she is a stay-at-home mum. So there's that as well. On the face of it, is she the arsehole for asking him? No, I don't think she is in this
No.
scenario. I think I think it's fair comment. Like the daughter is 3 years old. She's made an observation as a 3-year-old, but
Yeah.
like it's not the mum's fault. She shouldn't be. Why should the mother be responsible for saying, well, daddy has to work and blah blah blah? Why does she have to be the one to kind of find it? Why can't the dad sit her
Yeah.
down when he's at home and say, listen, I go to work, I do live here, but I go to work so I can buy you nice things and I can put food on the table and we can
Yeah,
go on holidays and stuff like that. It's really difficult without knowing all of that context, but I
for
don't think
sure.
on the face of it that the mum was the arsehole in this case.
No, I like what is frustrating sometimes with certain like couples when they have children is that one is almost expected to be the more emotional one and deal with every emotion that a child has, rather than both kind of dealing like, oh, well, that's your job, like that's not my job. And I think that's such bullshit. Like, you both bring something to a child's life, you both have different emotions and stuff that you have to deal with that child, and help them through all those different scenarios. And to kind of sit and to get upset by what a 3-year-old saying is like, really. But then also, I know 3-year, like at that age, children they speak exactly as they feel. There's no filter.
Yeah.
It's exactly
That's why it's
what
harsh.
they see here.
Yeah.
It's harsh. It's harder to hear. It's very truthful. There's no soft way of saying those things. I guess from the dad's point of view, it's like maybe there is a resentment there, I suppose, that he does have to go out to work and so far away. And if he actually was closer to work, then he would be able to see his child more and all that stuff. So I do see it from that point of view. But the expecting the mum to kind of be the one who looks after that whole conversation, and that too is like, it's both of you. Like, you both should reassure a child, and if that's what the child sees, and that's what the child sees. So maybe maybe it wasn't dealt with maybe in the best way by both sides of things, because it sounds like it's a bit of immaturity on both counts almost. Like it's a very much like, well, what do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wouldn't see the mum as the arsehole as such. I would just see it as in, I guess maybe they're both arseholes.
That's what you shout, man. Yeah.
Oh God, don't worry what the 3-year-old said. Just get that money coming in. Like,
exactly.
You're right about the parenting thing, though. I mean, I've got a couple of friends and family who are stay-at-home parents, and my God, their day is non-stop. And some of them have got children that are adults, and they still have loads of stuff to do, and they're still expected when the other parents come home from work to keep providing. It doesn't stop. But then also I guess the other side of that is that it's either that, or you then piss out money by paying for people to look after
your children.
Your children. And I understand why I would rather stay at home, save money, than pay someone else to do it, knowing full well that I'm not even there to be. And then also, you're not another parent who's not there for them if you're both at work all day too. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. Go on, hit us with another one. Let's do number 2, seeing as that's my lucky number.
Number two. Oh, bloody hell. Am I the arsehole for telling my extended family how many men my sister has slept with after she outed our youngest brother as a virgin?
No.
No.
I don't even need explanation. No.
We had a family dinner this evening, and my family has 4 kids. Me, my elder sister, my younger sister, and my younger brother. Extended family attended too. So all of our significant others, plus our cousins, plus aunts and uncles. During the dinner, my elder sister and my youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed to be coming across as very aggressive, out of frustration and losing the argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realise the rest of us were getting a bit fed up. Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up. I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't made any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying, "Everyone knows he's a virgin," and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my brother definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of. So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal. Turns out her husband didn't know this. Amazingly, I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying that my sister misled him about her past. The family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refuse to accept that I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone, and all I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. Ouch.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So lots to unpick there.
This is difficult because I actually have friends, and obviously I will not say any names. I have friends that have had multiple partners, and the number's quite high, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is, but who have not told their other half what that number is, right? And I get it. I get why there's a fear of not saying anything and that, but I just think if you really want to know me, you're gonna know everything about me, all the goods and the bads and whatever. And I think you can't judge somebody on that. I think I don't know. I think I'd like to think you can't judge somebody, but I think we naturally judge regardless. But then you also judge if there's not that many either. You can't fucking win, right?
Yeah. But do you need to know? Would it change anything? Would it change anything if their partners knew? How many people that I
would like to think it would. If that person really loves you and cares for you and knows that you've had a history and you've got a past or whatever, that it shouldn't it shouldn't change anything. But I can understand also why it does change things as well. I think especially if it's especially when it's women that have had more than men, for example, like the body count thing is obviously, we, as you know, as a woman, like as soon as you say you have a higher count than men, like say like 5 or whatever, it's like kind of thing, and you're judged instantly. And then I think some guys are very insecure, and there's that judgment of, were they better than me? Or did they have a bigger penis? Like, you know, what were they like? You know, like, all that shit just comes into it, and it's like, why does that even matter? Like,
Why
I love
does it
you,
matter?
it doesn't fucking matter. Is she an arsehole? No, I think no, because if that was the other way around and the brother was doing that to the sister, I think like, do you know what I mean? Like, you listen, I see it this way. If you're going to give shit like that out, you have to expect someone's going to probably out you in one way or another, and probably give something back, which she probably wasn't expecting. And she probably definitely wasn't expecting it from the sisters.
That's it. Was it her place to, though? That's the question as well.
Literally.
Was she the arsehole?
I think if you see a family member kind of in knowing that he's got an issue with confidence and stuff, like, I don't know, like, I suppose seeing that thing of like, if you know that she's quite a certain way when she gets drunk and it's like a common occurrence or whatever. And I said like occurrence, couldn't say it properly then. Occurrence. Arsehole.
You're an arsehole.
Arsehole. Yeah, if you saw like a loved one that was getting like literally the shit ripped out of them and being embarrassed in front of loads of other people, would you probably say that? And you know what siblings are like as well, like we all out each other because we just don't really give a shit. We just assume that and the assumption is that everyone knows your shit, but clearly not. Oh, I want to say she's not the. I kind of feel like she's not the arsehole. Maybe it wasn't her place to say it. Maybe, right? In that respect, it wasn't. But because of the scenario, maybe she was the right person to say it. Because sometimes someone in the family has to. I think if it wasn't, I'm going to say this: if it wasn't a family member and someone else who just said it, then it's really not.
She's the arsehole. Yeah.
If you're siblings, I think it's one of those things that you would naturally just out the other person and say shit. So I don't see that. I mean, my family we all say stuff that we really shouldn't say in front of each other, but that's just how we are. But I think in that respect, if it's siblings, you are going to say stuff like that. And it
was quite tit for tat. This is it. Just because she said, "Oh, you're a virgin," or she outed him as a virgin, she's like, "Right, I'm just going to out you as someone who slept with like loads of people."
So
was she right?
I think she was right. But there's like a but. This is the thing with a lot of these conversations, because sometimes you're like, oh, they're 100%. I mean, the food's what I'm paying for the food. Absolutely.
Don't invite people around your house if you don't want to pay. If you don't want to pay for their food, just don't invite them around.
Because I feel like you're making your own problem with that one. That's asking for trouble. But then with other ones, it's always like there's like a yes, and it's like a yes, but there's a but always with it as well. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think she was, because I think she had almost the right to say it. She was sticking up for her brother. She's a sibling. You naturally get involved in shit that has nothing to do with you. She wasn't to know that the partner didn't know it was that many people. So no, I'd say no. What about you?
I don't think she should be blamed for their marital problems, though. Like, if it took that conversation to like, then there's obviously some kind of underlying issues there. Do I think she was an arsehole? I think you're absolutely right in saying it's siblings. If it was a totally different scenario, if it was like we were out with friends and I outed my friend as having slept with X amount of people, then yes, there's family, isn't it? There's certain things that you let with family, you kind of let slide. So it's like, but also the point that there's extended family there, it isn't just immediate family as well.
And it depends what the whole dynamic is between that whole family in general, because you do get like siblings that don't get on and stuff too. And like I said, well, clearly, I guess because they were having some stupid disagreement, like maybe it was one of those things where everyone just got sick of hearing it and just, like you said, they just sort of fuck it and just say it anyways. But
have you fallen out with your siblings?
My brother and I, not really. Like, to be honest, it's always more been that I've been annoyed with my brother about something. He's very like, it's quite an open book. He says it like it is. He's not afraid to like say stuff and whatever. And usually problem with my brother is that when he says stuff, he goes kind of psychological on you, and it's a bit of like not manipulation. It's just like he knows how to like get his way out of the conversation. Almost like he knows how to turn it around, should I say? Not slagging on my brother. It's just he's smart like that, and then he always kind of, and anytime he has the debate with someone, he seems to twist it every time he manages. He's just got that. So he's like quick thinker, slow talker. So he'll take it all in, and he will like be like, right, okay, and then he'll know how to. He'll either diffuse it or piss you off even more, so he'll make you think you're the one that's in the wrong. So not with him as such. My half sisters. We've not had like massive fallouts. Like there's been like a couple of things, maybe over these, because they're younger than us, and I think they see life a bit different to us. No, but I think that's the growing up thing. I don't think that's like a bad thing. Sometimes we would like it'd be a conversation they didn't like, obviously, what we're saying to them. They thought maybe we thought we knew better and stuff like that. But like no, it's never been like a really, really, really bad fallout or anything. And as far as I can remember, I think like maybe one situation in like a family thing, but other than that, like, and it was dealt with. Like my family are very much like we'll just go quiet on each other, and then once everyone's calmed down a couple months later, it's like, oh, you're right, like, pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Which is probably bad because you should talk it out. But what about you?
Yeah, I remember going back years now. Me and my sister fell out for like a good couple of years. We didn't talk. We were really close. We weren't close growing up, and then we were close when I was in our 20s, maybe, and then maybe late 20s. We kind of, we had this massive falling out. And it was over something so stupid. We were at home at my parents' house, and I think I was probably still at uni, and I was probably really tired from like exams or something. Anyway, so I fell asleep, and when I woke up, I think someone asked me something and I didn't quite understand. I'd literally just woken up, and I think my dad asked me something and my sister asked me something, and I didn't understand what was being asked of me because I was like just kind of trying to wake up, and I like immediately was like, no, what, no. That was just my immediate thing. And then my sister just kind of went off on one going, oh, you're so selfish, you only think about your friends, like you don't care about your family, you only care about yourself. Apparently, I was asked whether or not I would go and pick up Nando's. That's what it was. Right? That's what transpires later on down the line was the question that was asked.
You
but
didn't
when
get
she was
cheeky
like
Nando's.
that, literally didn't get chicken Nando's. So I was back, like I had to defend myself. I was like, what are you talking about? I do so much for you. And then I kind of outed her as like, I kind of helped her out a lot with money and stuff. And she's like, how dare you?
Oh,
Like,
shit.
blah, blah. And so it like literally blew up over fucking Nando's. And my dad was like, right, get out. You get out. You get out.
Yeah.
You can't be in here together. Like, yeah, and then we fell out. It was a good 2 years before we.
Wow, because of that. But that's clearly stuff that was bottling up for a long time, right? And it just took like one Nando's.
Exactly. Will you go and get Nando's? Oh God, if I'd known you were asking me to get fucking Nando's, of course I'll go and pick up Nando's.
You're selfish.
Oh man, yeah, it's ridiculous. We've not really been the same since then, to be honest.
Really?
But yeah, it's weird. But
does it bother you? Are you kind of like, it is what it is?
It does bother me a little bit because she's quite, I think I've said this before, she's quite introverted, and COVID really hit her quite hard. And so she doesn't really kind of go out as much or things like that. And I just want to be able to kind of pick up the phone and talk to her and say, are you okay? And I don't think I can do that because I think she's changed her number and not told me.
No way, really?
Yeah. So I know. So I will pass messages to her via my parents or via my nephew. I'm quite close to my nephew anyway. She has, to be fair to her, like over the last couple of months, she's called me once or twice to call me about a problem that she has, which is fine. And I'll talk her through that, and we'll talk, and I'll kind of beef her up and say, listen, don't worry about it or whatever. This is what you need to do. But she's met my son once. She's probably met my daughter twice. My daughter's 5. And my son's going to be 3. There's a bit of a shame. It is a bit of a shame, really. I do wish I was closer to her, but yeah, I just think, I don't know, like maybe the age gap, or just, you're different people, aren't you? And like with you and your younger sisters, your younger half sisters, like you're just, you're on very, very different paths and different personalities, and it's just
for sure. So. It's so hard because it's like, I think sometimes it comes to a point with family where if you ever fall out, it's like so long that you get to a point where you're like, I want to approach, but I don't know how to, or they might turn me away and stuff. It's very difficult, really difficult. Like we've had like family stuff over the year. We've had like cousins and stuff like falling out multiple times over the years, and it's been like a generational thing. Like it's been crazy. Like some of it now is like better than it was, but it's still not quite where it was. And like one family comes in, and then it's like almost like a fallout, and another family sort of falls out, and it's hard. Like, and it comes to the point where you're a bit like, do I try and fix it or do I just leave it? It's more peaceful as it is, but it's especially with siblings. I think that's a lot harder because especially when like our parents aren't here anymore and things like that. Like that's your family. So I was going to say there's nothing to stop you from reaching out at some point, maybe if you felt like it.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that's the thing that kind of really gets me as well. It's like from my parents, for my parents, and to see them, and like you say, when our parents aren't around anymore, I don't want them to think that we're not getting on and that we're not there for each other.
Are your parents the mediator in it though? Because this is another thing. I've had this issue with family in the past where there's family not right. So you've got like this family that aren't talking, like family A, and then you've got that family C that aren't talking, right? But there's a
Yeah.
B that is talking in between both.
Yeah.
That technically should be the mediator, and sometimes doesn't want to also rock the boat either, but probably could actually just bring A and C together.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we've had that in the past where it's like how do you know what's talking to each other, but they are talking to each other, but yet no one's willing to put their
Yeah.
head out. So let's sort this out.
Yeah.
So do your parents say anything? Are they quite happy how it is as well? Like, what's the deal?
I think they've tried to. I think the
Yeah,
stubbornness runs through the family.
yeah,
I think they 100% have tried to kind of mediate, and it's just kind of got to a point where it's like it is what it is now. Like you get on or you
yeah,
don't get on. But I will always kind of open my door is always open, and I hope that she knows that. Like I will always
yeah.
invite her to like my children's birthdays, or do you want to cut? And she will just laugh. She'll be like,
Mm.
no, like why? Like why are
Oh
you
no,
even thinking about inviting me? Like
asking.
don't be stupid. Yeah, of course I'm not gonna go. So it's just stuff like that. And yeah, no, but I won't ever stop asking. It is,
Yeah,
and that's, yeah. But yeah, like you say, my parents, I think, have just also, they're too old for the stress now, I think.
yeah. No, I get that. I think just sort of give up in the end and say, do you know what, do what you
Yeah,
do. And
yeah,
it's what sometimes it's that thing of like, it's as long as there's peace, it almost doesn't matter what the relationship is in some respect, which is horrible, but it's also
yeah,
for your peace of mind and your sister's
exactly.
maybe, I suppose, as well. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that is a shame though. But you're not alone, unfortunately. There's a lot of families that are like that.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
frustrating. Do you want to end on maybe one more we'll have something that's like, you got any outrageousy ones, like ones
Oh,
that are
let's
fun
have a
that we
look.
don't end on a sad note?
And it was a sad note. Right, let me have
Yeah,
a
I
look
don't want
through
to.
here.
I don't want to end up on, oh, your relationship with your sister's not great. Okay, well, thanks for joining, guys.
Thanks for joining this light-hearted episode.
That's
We did
not shitting
promise,
on your.
yeah, we
That's
did
not shitting
promise
on
it
your
was gonna,
situation, by the way.
yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole for lying to my wife about the length of my work trip to avoid a vacation with the in-laws? My
Oh shit.
wife, my wife and her family had a 5-day long family vacation in July. It was at an Airbnb that everyone, my wife, her siblings, their spouses, and her parents stayed in. I happened to have a work trip the same week, but it was only 2 days long. So technically, I could have gone for the last few days. Here's the thing about my wife's family. They're very rowdy. They yell to communicate, they get drunk together often, have no respect for each other's privacy, and ask very invasive questions. There have been times when I've asked my wife if I can skip family reunions and birthday parties, but she gets very mad at me and says it would be super rude to avoid her family. So when I found out that my out-of-state work trip was the same week as the family vacation, I decided to fib. I told my wife that my work trip was 4 days long and it wouldn't make sense for me to travel to the Airbnb to stay for only 1 day. My wife agreed. So I went on the work trip, enjoyed a few days of peace and quiet at our house while my wife enjoyed the holiday with her family. A few weeks went by and I was having some co-workers over for drinks. My wife
Uh-oh.
came home from work early and started chatting with my co-workers. She told them about the wonderful vacation she had with her family a few weeks ago, and my co-workers asked me why I didn't join. I told them that the vacation was during our work trip. My co-workers then said, but our work trip was only 2 days long. So why
Oh
didn't I
no.
catch the end of the family holiday? The look on my wife's face was murderous. After my co-workers left, my wife started yelling at me, saying I was a major asshole. She called her parents, and they sent me angry messages saying they couldn't believe I lied to my wife to avoid a holiday with them. Am I the asshole for lying to my wife about the length of my work trip, even though I knew she wouldn't let me skip the family holiday?
Okay. I think the parents,
Disgust.
for starters, right. So the parents, I feel like a bit arsehole. Don't get involved. Like you literally, like just because. I mean, you naturally text your family or your friends, oh, so and so did this, but like I wouldn't expect my parents to ever then text my husband and be like, oh, you're an arsehole for doing that, blah blah. It's nothing to do with them. This is a really tricky one, and I actually instantly I was going to say no, he's not the arsehole. But then I also see it from the wife's point of view, where I would say like why he would come across the arsehole. If he says no a lot every single time, yeah, you are a little bit of the arsehole because you're doing it all the time. I think if it was a one-off situation, then I would say, no, fuck it, why not stay home or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's hard if the family are a real pain in the ass and you don't enjoy spending time with them. And also, cause I don't know what's worse as well is lying about that or actually turning up and clearly showing you're not enjoying yourself, because that's
Yeah.
10 times worse. where you are there but you're not present in the moment. Oh Jesus.
But what is
I'm trying.
worse is like she's not gonna. He said there that if he said no, or if he said, "Oh, the work thing is only 2 days," and he said she wouldn't let me miss it, she would say, "No,
Yeah,
you're coming here."
that wouldn't make sense to me to come after. Like, do you know what I mean? It's already like 2 days are gone. I mean, depending how far away it was, what it was, etc., etc. I think like there's times when you can just, oh fuck it, I'll go without you. For that situation alone, I would say no. I don't think he's the arsehole, and I think it was like sod it. If it meant having a couple of days home and not having to deal with family that he maybe finds really uncomfortable or too much or whatever, then I would say
Yeah,
no. I think he's got a right to say no to that. If it was a constant occurrence where he said no to every time and she was getting angry for that reason, but then that's also the other thing. That's maybe why she's one, I guess, because he lied to her about it,
yes,
and because it sounds like it's a regular occurrence, so maybe he's a bit of an arsehole.
yeah. It's the lie. It's the lying for me. It's
Yeah, so
the having. I've had this before. It's like, you find out someone's lying and they've lied because they don't want to deal with the repercussions of
yeah,
the truth.
yeah,
But it's
yeah. I can't
like,
bear it.
but let me make that decision rather than
Yeah,
you lying, because me finding out that you've lied is worse, I think, in that
I
case. And
yeah,
yeah.
I can't bear when someone's like, "Oh, I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be angry," and I'm like, "But I'm angry now
Yeah,
because
that
you've not told me. Like, I'm not pissed now about
exactly.
it. Like, why
Exactly.
not? Like,
Yeah,
just say
yeah.
it. Just say you
Yeah.
don't want it. Just own it.
That's it. Own it. That's
own
it.
it. But
100%.
it's a hard one. It's a really hard one. Like I said, I don't. If it was like a one-off occurrence, I would say he's not an arsehole and he has
Yeah.
every right to respect. But if he did it all the time and he lied about it, mate, no, not even if he lied about it all the time. If he just did it all the time in general
Yeah.
because he felt a certain type. Well, listen, you can't choose the family at the end of the day, and if she loves them and stuff, you have to kind of grin and bear it sometimes. Like we've all,
Yeah.
not in any disrespect to my parents, like my family or Rick's family or whatever, but there is times when you're like, I can't bothered, like I'm really not in
Yeah.
the mood, like,
Yeah.
but it depends. Like, I always feel like, I mean, like Rick's mum and dad make me feel super welcome. It's not like I don't feel welcome, but I'm also aware that like they're very, again, really different to my family, really different dynamic and stuff and how we are and stuff. But us, lot, we're very much like, do what you want, come in, like whatever. And like Rick's mum and dad are like that too, but I always feel like I want to be like polite and not, I don't, I don't want to be rude or
Yes.
anything like that. So I always make
Civil.
very
Civil.
civil. That's literally it.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, I can go around and we'll have like an amazing dinner. I'll fall asleep on like the sofa. Like I was like, I'm that
Yeah.
comfortable in that respect. But it's always a thing of like, I want to be respectful, like, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I get it. And sometimes you're like, you know what, I'll let you go to. I also, this is the other thing as well, just to throw that out there. Sometimes it's good to go and hang out with your family without your partner too.
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
there is a lot. I think there's times where you do need to go around to your family and talk about shit. And like maybe you want to have a moan about your partner or something. Maybe, maybe
Yeah.
something happens. You don't want to then rock up pretending you're good with everything and you're not. Like I think it's
Yeah.
important to have that quality, like how you were before you all got married, like settled down and stuff. And like,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with some good old clean, wholesome bitching about your partner.
I agree.
I think nothing wrong with that. So, and that, like,
Yeah.
I encourage it. I'm always like, I'll say to Ricky, like, go see your parents on your own. Like, you don't like, not in a like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go, but like, go see them, just spend time with them. Like, you go like and have like that moment with them. Because
Yeah.
as you probably may have gathered, I'm quite a talker, and I'll end up like
Yeah.
overtaking.
No.
No, never me. There's a mouse. And like, it's just, I think it's important to have this conversation, like to have that quality time with your family and be 100% yourself and not having to feel like any type
Yeah.
of way. And,
This
right.
is
So,
it.
do you think they're an arsehole?
Just for the lie, yes, I do. I think for lying about being on a work trip, for work trip longer than you are, yes, he was an arsehole for doing that. I think because the way the wife kind of found out as well with co-workers, it just that the way it came out, the kind of embarrassment, I guess, what's the word? Like, yeah, the humiliation, that's it. Being
Yeah, yeah,
humiliated
yeah.
in that way and being like, why didn't you tell me, that sort of thing. And probably the way that she felt as well on that holiday, that all her, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but all their siblings with their spouses and all the family and stuff
Yeah,
like
it
that. And
means a lot.
she probably felt a little bit like, oh, I wish whoever was here, I wish X was here. But it's just such a shame he's on a work trip. Probably all of that, that probably kind of
Yeah,
adds to it as well. So yeah, it was a little bit of an arsehole. You kind of wish that they'd have that communication, and talk to your partner, talk to your wife, like be open, have a conversation. What don't you like? And like you say, be civil, because their family aren't going anywhere, whether you like them or not. You married.
It's true. You
You
married into
married
that.
your wife.
Sure.
Exactly. You married into that. You didn't just marry your wife. You that's you're then family. And that's It's
It's you have to give and take in both situations. There's going to be stuff that the husband isn't going to want to do, the wife's not going to want to do either, and things like that. And it's not nice to go to events alone when you know you have a partner. I think I think a lot of us been in situations like that when it's like, I have a partner, but I'm having to make excuses as to why they're not here, for example, and things like that. And that's never cool.
Yeah.
I think like if it's a couple of times now and then, fine. When it becomes like a regular occurrence, it's definitely an issue. So I get it from her point of view also in that respect. But you just have to give and take. It is what it is. So I'm still gonna go ahead with like not the arsehole, even though I do see from both points of view. I think if anything, he's an arsehole for having his friends come around and not thinking that they might bring up the conversation at some point somewhere.
Idiot!
You're an arsehole, you're a fucking idiot.
Idiot. Tell him you mug.
At least say, listen, I lied to my wife and said,
if she asks about it,
asks about the holiday. If she asks about the time on date, we did 5 days. Like we didn't do. You're an arsehole. You're definitely
you fool, like a fool.
I feel like that's a good place to definitely finish up on. Most of them were arseholes, arseholes,
or arseholes.
Or arseholes, especially those arseholes. They're the worst kind of arseholes.
They're the worst kind of arseholes.
So we have, hopefully, if we're going to be able to still do it, our next episode is going to be all about like nostalgia.
Yeah,
we're going to really take a bit of going to take a little turn back in time and talk about things that we dealt with growing up, from like school to like relationships, and just things that we like music and like food, all the things that no longer exist, like shit adverts. I think you name it, like we're gonna tackle it and talk about it because we think it would be fun. If there's things in particular that you would really like us to mention and talk about that we haven't thought about having a discussion when it comes to anything, but especially the nostalgia one, let us know. And that will be officially our episode 10.
But it'll be a special one. It'll be a special one for you guys because it is episode 10. If you've listened from 1 to 10, then it'll be a nice little treat for you. Treat for the eyes. So.
Definitely. Do you know what? I actually had someone complain to me the other day and said, I listened to your last episode, and I was like, they're like, why wasn't it nothing new? They're like, why did you do all the recap stuff? They're like, I wanted to hear you.
There was new stuff on there. There was new stuff on there. There were probably 2 clips on there that hadn't been heard before. I was very lazy of us. We apologise.
We were lazy, but we've got more things coming up, and we are going to try and do more stuff that you get to watch as well as listen to. But we're just both very busy ladies, and we just haven't got around to it. But have a listen. Thank you for obviously listening to today. If you think we are right or wrong in the decisions we made about where these people are arseholes or not, let us know. If you have scenarios that you would like us to discuss openly and call you out, then we will do. And
oh my God. You're the arsehole. Fuck's sake.
The dog agrees, but we're arseholes.
Literally.
Love it.
Yeah.
Lynette, finish for us.
Thank you for listening. It's arsehole, not arsehole. If you're asking the question, then you probably are the arsehole.
Done. Thank you, arseholes, and good night.
Good night. Thank you and good night.
I love you, arseholes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bye.
Mood. We're relatable as fuck.